Hey, welcome everyone to a video presentation on one-point perspective drawing. I'm going to work out some things for you here to help you see how this process works. So, perspective is the way that we create the illusion of three-dimensional space on a two-dimensional surface. And we use certain tools that we've developed to help us do that. You saw the horizon line of the vanishing point. You saw the perspective guidelines, and now I'm drawing what I call rails between those two guidelines. And they are receding into the depth of space. Now this is, the reality is that I'm just drawing them at a certain size, so we're creating the illusion of the depth of space, and that needs to be clarified. So in reality, in the real world, these would actually all be the same length. But because we're creating that illusion of the depth of space, they are getting smaller and smaller as they go back, and that's known as transfer of scale. So we're going to do transfer of scale again, only we're going to do so with vertical poles. And I'm just going to draw two of them at first in relationship to each other between those two guidelines that I made. Now the key will be, once they are drawn, is to establish a perspective guideline that divides those poles perfectly in half. Now what I'm going to do is draw from either the top or the bottom of the first pole, and I'm going to draw through the middle of the second pole to see where the third one is going to go, as you can see happening there in the process. And so that's how I knew where that third one was going to go. Once you understand the logic of it, you can use it to your advantage. And there are people who will work out this kind of perspective in some of their paintings and drawings if they're getting really quite technical about it. But the artist needs to have a good intuitive knowledge and understanding of how perspective and the illusion of the depth of space works on a flat surface. This is what we are all about. The visual artist, that is. So I'm repeating there so you can just get the idea down as to how that works. This is transfer of scale in a more measured or calculated way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a structure. I'm going to start out with a big block like a box, not a square box, but kind of a rectangular box. And then I'm going to put a roof on it. I'm going to pretend that it's something architectural, and I'm going to do this using the tools of one-point perspective, so you can see how that happens. Now, right now, that in one-point perspective, that side that faces us at a perfect right angle. So that's why I drew it the way that I did. Now, as I have those lines drawn in, I now need to draw in two more perspective guidelines, as you can see that I indicated there. And I need to go back to the vanishing point and up to that corner. And these are my guidelines for building out the rest of my box. So I'm building it as if it were transparent, as if you could see through it. And those lines that I'm putting back there are also going to be at a right angle to each other. Now somehow I got a little bit off. That's going to happen. What happened is I didn't draw my line precisely to the point that I needed to draw it to, and so it manifests itself in things being off back there, and that can happen. If it's a little bit, it's not too bad. If it's worse, it's pretty egregious and you got to correct things. So what I'm doing is I'm finding the center of this front plane, And that's going to be a good skill to have. As you find the center of that plane, you can do things with that information. For example, I'm going to create a roof line, a roof structure on this and make it feel like a building, if you will. And there we go. The gable ends are being put in. The length of the roof line is being put in. Now I just need to put in one more, and that's way back there, the most unseen portion of our roof. And I just wanted to highlight the gable ends there for you to see. Okay, well, that's how you can work with that in one-point perspective. So what we've learned is we've learned about transfer of scale, both in a random way and in a measured way. And then we've also learned about diminution of size. As that building structure gets smaller in size, going back into the depth of space, that is the action of diminution of size. So we've learned about central vanishing point, horizon line or eye level. We've learned about perspective guidelines, diminution of size, finding the center of a plane, and in general, learning how to create the illusion of three-dimensional space on a two-dimensional surface using the elements of one-point perspective. Now, as you do these drawings, I want you to do them with physical materials, with pencil, graphite. I want you to do them with a ruler or triangle on paper. Work with physical materials. Build your skills and learn how to work with those materials rather than digitally. I did this digitally just for the purpose of demonstration, but I would like you to do this with physical materials to build your skills as a student of art. All right, thanks for listening. Take care.